Have you ever wondered what would happen if you spilled a cup of hot coffee on yourself? You might think that it would be a minor inconvenience, but for some people, it was a life-changing event. The hot coffee incident was one of the most infamous controversies in the gaming industry, which involved a hidden minigame in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The minigame was discovered by Amada in 2004. You might wonder what hidden element in a minigame could cause such a huge scandal that resulted in lawsuits, investigations, and rating changes. Hi folks, I'm Dush, and today we're going to talk about the 10 biggest controversies in the gaming industry. These are the scandals, the outrages, and the controversies that rocked the gaming world and made headlines. Some of them are still unresolved, while others have faded into history. But they all have one thing in common: they show us the dark side of gaming and the challenges that the industry faces. So, without further ado, let's get started. We begin with one of the most infamous controversies of all time, the hot coffee incident. This happened in 2004 when a modder discovered a hidden minigame in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which showed the protagonist having uncensored adult activities with one of his girlfriends. The minigame was originally cut from the game, but it was still present in the code. The modder released a patch that enabled the minigame, and soon, the scandal erupted. The game's rating was changed from mature to adults only, which meant that many retailers refused to sell it. Rockstar Games had to recall and re-release the game with the minigame completely removed. They also faced several lawsuits and investigations from various authorities. The hot coffee incident was a huge blow to Rockstar's reputation and a major headache for the gaming industry. Next, we have the sad story of the breakup between Konami and Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear Solid series. The relationship between the two parties had been deteriorating for years due to creative differences, budget issues, and corporate politics. Things came to a head in 2015 when Konami announced that Kojima would leave the company after the release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. They also canceled his project Silent Hills, which was a highly anticipated horror game co-created with Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus. Konami removed Kojima's name and logo from the game's cover and marketing materials and barred him from attending the Game Awards, where he was supposed to receive an award. The fans were outraged by Konami's treatment of Kojima, and many of them boycotted the company's products. Kojima later formed his own studio, Kojima Productions, and released his first independent game, Death Stranding, in 2019. Moving on, we have the controversy surrounding No Man's Sky, a sci-fi exploration game that promised to deliver an infinite, procedurally generated universe. The game was developed by a small indie studio, Hello Games, and was hyped up by Sony and the media as one of the most ambitious and innovative games ever made. However, when the game launched in 2016, it failed to meet the expectations of the players and the critics. The game was plagued by bugs, glitches, and performance issues. It also lacked many of the features and content that were shown or promised in the trailers and interviews, such as multiplayer, planetary physics, animal diversity, and more. The game was accused of false advertising and misleading the consumers. The backlash was so severe that Hello Games received death threats and harassment from angry fans. The game's sales and ratings plummeted, and many players demanded refunds. Hello Games went silent for months, but they eventually started to update and improve the game, adding new features and content over the years. The game has since redeemed itself and gained a loyal fanbase, but the controversy still haunts its reputation. Next up, we have the loot box controversy, which is one of the most ongoing and widespread controversies in the gaming industry. Loot boxes are randomized rewards that can be purchased with real or in-game currency. They often contain cosmetic items such as skins, emotes, or weapons, but sometimes they also contain gameplay-enhancing items such as power-ups, upgrades, or characters. The problem with loot boxes is that they are seen as a form of gambling, as they exploit the psychological mechanisms of addiction and reward. They also create an unfair advantage for players who spend more money, and they can encourage underage gambling. Many games have been criticized for using loot boxes, such as FIFA, Overwatch, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and more. Several countries have banned or regulated loot boxes, and many gamers have called for their removal or reform. The loot box controversy is still ongoing, and it poses a serious ethical and legal challenge for the gaming industry. Moving on, we have the debacle of Cyberpunk 2077, one of the most anticipated and hyped games of 2020. The game was developed by CD Projekt Red, the studio behind the critically acclaimed The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The game was supposed to be a massive, immersive, and groundbreaking sci-fi RPG set in a dystopian future. However, when the game launched in December 2020, it was a disaster. The game was riddled with bugs, glitches, and crashes. It also suffered from poor performance, especially on the last-gen consoles where it was barely playable. The game also lacked many of the features and content that were shown or promised in the trailers and interviews, such as customization, interactivity, and more. The game was accused of being unfinished, unpolished, and misleading. The backlash was so huge that CD Projekt Red had to apologize and offer refunds to the players. They also faced several lawsuits and investigations from various authorities. The game's sales and ratings dropped and its reputation was tarnished. CD Projekt Red is still working on fixing and improving the game, but the damage has been done. Next, we have the Blizzard boycott, which was a protest movement against Blizzard Entertainment, one of the most popular and respected game developers in the world. The boycott was sparked by an incident that happened in October 2019 when Blizzard banned a professional Hearthstone player, Blitzchung, for expressing his support for the Hong Kong protests during a live stream. Blizzard also confiscated his prize money and fired the casters who interviewed him. Blizzard claimed that Blitzchung violated the rules of the tournament, which prohibited any political statements. However, many people saw Blizzard's decision as a way of appeasing the Chinese government and market, which are known for censoring and suppressing any dissenting voices. The boycott was supported by many gamers, streamers, celebrities, politicians, and even some Blizzard employees who criticized Blizzard for betraying its values and compromising its integrity. The boycott also extended to other Blizzard games such as Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. Blizzard later reduced Blitzchung's ban and restored his prize money, but they did not apologize or reverse their decision. The boycott has since died down, but the incident has left a stain on Blizzard's image. Next, we have the Gamergate controversy, which was one of the most divisive and toxic controversies in the gaming industry. The controversy started in August 2014 when a blog post accused a female game developer, Zoe Quinn, of having an affair with a game journalist, Nathan Grayson, in exchange for positive coverage of her game, Depression Quest. The blog post was written by Quinn's ex-boyfriend, and it sparked a wave of harassment and abuse against Quinn and other female game developers, journalists, and critics who were targeted by a loosely organized online movement that called itself Gamergate. Gamergate claimed that they were fighting for ethics in game journalism and against corruption, censorship, and political correctness in the gaming industry. However, many of their actions and messages were misogynistic, racist, homophobic, and violent. They also used tactics such as doxing, hacking, swatting, and death threats to intimidate and silence their opponents. The Gamergate controversy lasted for months, and it polarized the gaming community and the media. It also raised awareness and debate about the issues of sexism, diversity, and inclusion in the gaming industry. Moving on, we have the lawsuit between Epic Games and Apple, which is one of the most high-profile and influential legal battles in the gaming industry. The lawsuit started in August 2020 when Epic Games, the developer of the popular game Fortnite, introduced a direct payment option in the game's app which bypassed Apple's 30% commission fee. Apple responded by removing Fortnite from the App Store, which prevented millions of iOS users from playing or updating the game. Epic Games then sued Apple, accusing them of violating antitrust laws and abusing their monopoly power over the app market. Epic Games also launched a PR campaign against Apple using the hashtag #FreeFortnite and parodying Apple's famous 1984 commercial. Apple countersued Epic Games, accusing them of breach of contract and unfair competition. The lawsuit went to trial in May 2021, and it involved testimonies from both sides, as well as from other companies such as Microsoft, Sony, and Valve. The trial revealed many details and secrets about the gaming industry, such as revenue, deals, policies, and more. The verdict is still pending, but the outcome of the lawsuit could have a huge impact on the future of the gaming industry and the app market. Next, we have the Twitch DMCA takedowns, which were a series of mass deletions and suspensions of Twitch streams and videos due to claims of copyright infringement. The takedowns started in June 2020 when Twitch received thousands of DMCA notices from music labels and publishers demanding that Twitch remove any content that used their music without permission. Twitch complied by deleting or muting hundreds of thousands of streams and videos without giving the streamers any warning or opportunity to appeal. Many streamers lost years of their work and archives, and some of them even faced permanent bans. The streamers and the viewers were outraged by Twitch's handling of the situation, and they accused Twitch of being negligent, inconsistent, and unfair. Twitch later apologized and promised to improve their tools and policies, but they also warned the streamers to delete any potentially infringing content themselves. The Twitch DMCA takedowns exposed the flaws and challenges of Twitch's platform and the streaming industry, and they also raised questions about the rights and responsibilities of the streamers, the viewers, and the music industry. And finally, we have the Activision Blizzard lawsuit, which is the most recent and the most serious controversy in the gaming industry. The lawsuit was filed in July 2021 by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing against Activision Blizzard, one of the largest and most successful game publishers in the world. The lawsuit alleged that Activision Blizzard fostered a frat boy culture where female employees were subjected to widespread discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The lawsuit also detailed several shocking and disturbing incidents, such as the cube crawls where male employees would drink and harass female employees in their cubicles, or the suicide of a female employee who was sexually harassed by her supervisor and had nude photos of her shared at a company party. The lawsuit sparked a huge outcry and backlash from the gaming community and the public, who condemned Activision Blizzard for their toxic and abusive work environment. Many current and former employees came forward to share their stories and experiences, and many of them staged a walkout to demand change and accountability. Many gamers also boycotted Activision Blizzard's games such as Call of Duty, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft. Activision Blizzard initially denied and dismissed the allegations, but they later apologized and vowed to take action and cooperate with the investigation. The lawsuit is still ongoing, and it could have a lasting impact on Activision Blizzard and the gaming industry. Before we end this video, we have a bonus entry for the most recent and the most outrageous controversy in the gaming industry: the scam of the day before. This was a game that was supposed to be a massive, open-world multiplayer survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world infested by zombies. It was developed by a Russian studio called Fantastic, and it was announced in 2021 with a stunning trailer that showed off impressive graphics, gameplay, and features. The day before quickly became the most wishlisted game on Steam, and many gamers were eagerly waiting for its release. However, it turned out to be a huge disappointment and a fraud. The game was delayed several times, and it faced many issues such as trademark disputes, plagiarism accusations, and lack of communication. When the game finally launched in December 2023, it was nothing like what was promised. It was full of bugs, glitches, and performance problems. It also lacked many of the features and content that were shown or promised in the trailers and interviews, such as customization, interactivity, and more. The day before was accused of being unfinished, unpolished, and misleading. The backlash was so huge that Fantastic announced the closure of the studio just days after the game's release, blaming it on poor sales and using the game's income to pay off debts. Fantastic also removed the day before from Steam and other platforms and deleted all of their social media accounts and promotional materials. The game's servers were shut down in January 2024, leaving the players with no access to the game they paid for. The scam of the day before was a huge blow to the gaming industry and the gaming community, and it showed the dangers of pre-ordering and trusting unproven developers. It also raised questions about the accountability and responsibility of the developers, the publishers, and the platforms. The scam of the day before was a cautionary tale for all gamers, and it deserves to be the #1 controversy in the gaming industry. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. These are the 10 biggest controversies in the gaming industry, but there are many more that I didn't cover. What do you think of these controversies? Which ones do you agree or disagree with? Do you have any other controversies that you think should be on this list? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.